On our mark, get set, go. All right. Good. I'm glad the recording is in progress. I'm happy for that. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Let's try this again. My name is Dr. Samuel Lombardo, the CEO and Executive Director of SL Models and Talent Agency, LLC, Suave Dance Studios, LLC, Alliance Potion Productions, LLC, SL Photography, SL Casting Agencies, LLC, Artist Gala, NRV Smart, Vocational School of Models and Artists. Wow, that's a whole lot of LLCs and businesses, and we're all pretty much staggered together under one umbrella. Um, anyway, if you would like to visit us, please visit us at www.slmta-agency.com. If you're a new face and interested in wanting to become a model and or a new talent, then please visit us on our website, www.slmta-agency.com, and look at the top tabs, become a model. In the drop down, you can see a drop down online application. Fill out the application online, give us about a week, and we'll be very well interested in speaking with you and setting up an online interview. And any pros out there, any pros or celebs that are looking for direct, excuse me, and direct bookings, you can also apply as well, or you can just go and send us an email at SL, S is in Sierra, L is in Limo, M is in Mario, T is in Tango, slmtagency@gmail.com. All right. Give us about a week to look at your information as well. We would need references, resume, portfolio, and or reels, as well as your biography. And good luck. Okay. I am so excited for tonight's video, but first I just wanted to announce to you, all right? Do not forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell and smash that like button because you're gonna like what I have to share with you tonight. This is an interactive show with Evening SLMTA, as we are dealing with a hot topic and you wanna get ready. You wanna listen and learn as much as you can tonight because tomorrow we are going to pounce on this, and I'm telling you. So definitely keep an eye on things as we are speaking. But first, I want to give my dedication, as today was National Woman Awareness Month, or excuse me, it is National Aware. Man, my tongue is tied tonight. National Woman Awareness Month, but today is a National Awareness Day for our woman, and I would love to give credit to those of you who are leaders within the business world, as well as leaders within the job markets as well. You guys need credit where credit is due, because the women in our industry especially do not really get recognized. And SLMTA has a recognition for you. It's just that those things, and plus some, have not been set up yet because we want to do those live. What do I mean by that? Basically, what we would like to do is recognize the top woman of the entertainment industry versus who the top singer is, and that. So be ready for those award ceremonies to come up very, very soon. Well, maybe not soon enough, but within the year, I'm going to be doing that. And that's also going to go with our top YouTubers, who are those who had the top growth in 1 year. We're gonna definitely give you recognition as well. We're going to do We're also going to do some recognitions for the best sound ops and different things. So keep an eye on that anyway, but I definitely wanted it to give my due respect to the woman in the industry. Now, it's been a long, long day, and I know that we had a very nice topic earlier. Boy, did that throw in some subscribers this afternoon. We blew up. Well, in my terms, we actually blew up 71 views in literally that 1 hour. That 1 hour that I was online actually talking about the financial advice, giving advice and wisdom on financial information during an adverse situation. And now I'm going to expand on that, but it's a hot topic. So apparently it's something I'm going to keep going at because, boy, we might blow up to 100 subscribers by the time the night is done. So you guys are on that YouTube channel, okay? Go ahead, press that like button, press that notification button, and do not forget to subscribe because there's going to be more for where this comes from. I think it's something that we're going to be having a lot of discussions on. Also, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Speaker, what else? Twitch, Discord, any of those, and you're hearing me live right now, get on YouTube, add me, subscribe, smash that like button because you're gonna want to. All right, I'm telling you, this is the time that you will want to smash that like button and that you will want to hear what I have to tell you because it's going to be important. This isn't just entertainment news. However, it is going to be an interactive show for everyone because I'm going to show you in this third stimulus package how you can get the money that you so deserve since it's there. Stop being the donut man, sitting on the couch with your donut and coffee, and let's get busy. All right. And it starts with finding us on YouTube, S as in Sierra, L as in Limo, Models and Talent Agency, LLC. Look for the yellow logo with the round red symbol and just add us right there. I'm telling you, you're going to want it. Now, some of you don't like the idea that entertainment agencies mix political news with their business, but this is a YouTube channel that brings all the news, the entertainment news, the finance news, the important news that you need to know how to function your agencies to begin with. How about that one? All right. So I could have some financial news. I may have some really hot topics, and I'm going to have one tonight. So get ready. All right. The first thing I want to talk about, we've talked about it before, is this EIDL grant. Now, there are certain provisions about this grant. There's a certain amount that you can make. There's a certain amount of employees. I'm going to go through most of this with you here tonight. Okay, but basically, it's 10 or less employees. So that's what they're going to be focusing on. So get yourself ready. Excuse me, I had to get a drink. So you have to have 10 or less employees. You have to have a business. I'm going to explain this whole thing. You got to have a business, or you can use your social security number if it's like Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, you know. You could be getting the remainder of $10,000 from the second stimulus money, which, by the way, some of you might have already gotten because I have communicated with SBA about this. Some of you might have actually gotten the report. about your approval as a low income. Okay, so as long as you have proven that you had what's it, 30% at this point, 30%. Now, under the third stimulus package, it's 50%. So you're gonna have to show more of a loss for your 2020 to get that additional $5,000. But for some of you, that could be $14,000 going into your pockets for real. All right. I'm not kidding when I say it. We're talking about the remainder amount. So if you were a Grubhub driver or Lyft or Uber driver, okay, and you could show that it was that you had 30% loss, you're going to, and you were in a low income targeted community. Okay, now some places it was middle income communities that were getting the emails as well. I've gotten the emails for all of my companies. I mean, we're like stacked up here as far as where that goes. Now, for some of you, you were assuming you were the donut man, okay? You were sitting on your desk talking about, there ain't no way I can get approved for this, or they said, no, I can't be approved for that. Well, that's because there was this game going on. The game was to figure out how many people were going to actually try to say they had 10 employees last year. Now they're telling you that it's 10 or less employees for the same type of grant. And therefore, even if you would have put one employee, but then you were like, well, I'm not approved for this because according to last year's application, it showed 20. Well, technically, the truth comes out when you get your finances straightened out. What do I mean by that? Folks, you got to do the work. And this is going to be very important, especially if you find yourself where you're going to have to do an audit. I'd rather you just find a licensed IRS enrolled agent and let them audit you now before they decide that they have to do it. Why am I saying that? Because they can fix your Schedule Cs. They can amend your tax returns and make the stuff look like what it's supposed to be from the begin with. But you're going to need a tax expert. I'm not a tax expert. The only thing I can really suggest to you right now is if you want that money, if you want that other $9,000, there are a few things that you have to do. One, you have to make sure that you have a Schedule C, especially that your Schedule Cs follow through. Now, understand that with me, I have a Schedule C, but I have like Form 943, Form 1065, Form this, Form that, under the federal guidelines of the LLC. So I have to do all of those forms, like federal quarterly taxes, my losses, the whole nine. I'm not going to go into that because I'm not a tax expert. I can only tell you how I think I'm hearing it because I have enrolled agents that work with me. So they know what they're talking about. I just kind of try to help with that. But you do need to have that. If you did get that email, okay, or you're on a way to getting it, when you get that email where you're going to open up that portal, you need to make sure that everything about the employees and everything is still going to be intact the way it is. If some of the employees have dropped from the face of the earth, then you could just put in there, well, it was only me because everybody else was tired of waiting to get paid. Okay, fine, it was only you. Well, at that time, you had five. You can get $5,000. You would be approved for the $5,000 as long as you could prove in the section that shows what your receipts are, your totals, okay? And then the reality is going to come when they ask you for this thing called a 4506, well, anyway, a 4506-T. And then that allows them to get your tax returns. And at that point, you will be able to go ahead and fulfill the process because they're going to see it. Now, are they going to have the actual bank statements and things? No. At that point, that is for you to audit yourself, get it into the system and make sure that everything's up to par, that it actually makes sense what you're putting in with the actual numbers that the SBA has, okay, when it comes to that. So let's start with something a little simple. You have worked with Lyft. You made $13,000. You are your only person and you got a social security number. What happens normally, and I'm only telling you this because I'm seeing it, what normally happens is they're going to take the amount of the vehicle, okay, excuse me, they're going to take the amount of what you made, the $13,000. So they're going to subtract all these stupid fees that were lined up along with the whole Uber and Lyft scenario. And that's going to be subtracted because it's a loss from you. And then they'll probably ask you some questions. Like in my case, I actually gotten a new vehicle. So they said, okay, how much is the vehicle? 13.5, 13.5. Okay. I can see here that you traveled 13,000 miles last year doing Uber. Yes, that is correct. How many miles did you do without Uber? 4,500. And by the time, so they go by this thing called a depreciated value. And I've already told you before, I mean, it's a part of your accounting that you need to know. Now, anytime you have any kind of taxes happening in that you want to make sure that you do not forget to put in your depreciative taxes as well, because that is the main thing that a lot of companies forget. And part of that is, okay, you bought the car, it was $13,000. Well, but you use the car, it's like 36,000 miles on there now, but the car's only worth like 8,300. So they take that amount and they tax on that, but they subtract what the cost was. Okay, that's usually how that goes. Now, I know this sounds like a whole lot of, oh my God, you're throwing all these numbers, you're telling me about these taxes and these terms, derivatives, and everything else. It's because it's very important. Only thing I could tell you is that you have to get with a tax expert to get this done right. All right. So as an Uber driver, you could probably find out that you might owe very little. In my case, I owed $50. All right. I'm not going to lie. By the time I added my Uber ride share expenses and things in there and all that, that's what it boiled down to, which isn't too bad, because if you really consider it, if I didn't actually do my taxes the way I did them last year, it would have literally just knocked me down to, like, I would have been getting the check back. But because I already had to earn income credit and things like that. And mind you, 2019 is the year of when I actually started all my businesses. And so in reality, a lot of this stuff was contingent on payroll of like W-2 and me actually going out and Ubering. Okay. Now this year I have a lot of stuff, and it's going to take an IRS enrolled agent, licensed IRS enrolled agent. Let me stress that, because there was a silent partner, there were sponsors, there were all kinds of bills and everything else. So there was a lot of lots, but the company is going to be able to really get a lot of that back with the new tax laws that were related to our prior president. And then of course, whatever happens, within this year, on my personal self, I didn't make any money in the business because I put it all back into the business. So it's an actual loss that I had this year, but I was okay with it because this is what I want, at least with my agency anyway. I want people to actually enjoy, okay, the effort of the agency. It doesn't always have to be pay me this, pay me that. However, I'm getting to the point where the training does take a lot of time, and so does the efforts behind photographing and all that. There is no way you're getting behind a camera with a professional photographer and thinking that you're not going to pay him or her for it. It's baloney, unless, of course, you are in good with a nice friend that will give that time. But we are seriously to that point where SLMTA is literally going to need to make changes regarding that. Also, if you notice on our website and you scroll down to the footer, you will see that we actually started adding our next accreditation, which is with MAAI, which we are a member agency of now. So they are now set up in the system with SL Model Talent Agency LLC. So thank you for that recognition, but also thank you for believing in us that we will provide the necessary training for the new faces to have better exposure within your convention. It's a very, very important program. And we're going to talk more topics about that, but I just wanted to throw a little announcement in there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's stay on topic because there's a lot, but it's good information, okay? Please do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're interested in knowing when I come on live again, because my live shows are usually always interactive, okay? It is when I'm actually doing tape shows that I will do those 20-minute increments. So if you're faithfully watching and you want more information about what is happening, then that's when you want to hit the notification bell. All right, so that I know that we'll be on the same page when it comes time to do the next videos. All right, so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be sharing the screen. I'm trying to think right now. Because what I want to do is I need to make sure that you guys understand the topic in discussion when it comes to EIDL. Now, I did mention that Grubhub, Lyft, and Uber, and DoorDash, places like that, you would end up using your social security number and making sure that you have everything set up for that so that you can go ahead and do it. So what I want to do now is I literally want to share my page again. I'm going to share the screen with you so that you can see exactly how you can get these different types of funding, because it's going to be important that you understand how to do that. Otherwise, you're going to be lost in the midst somewhere. Now, they have a whole thing right here about business guidance, loan resources, Corona related, okay? It's all right here. But you can even go a little bit further than that and just click up on the yellow banner. So let's go ahead and let's learn more, all right? So we're going to learn more. And it talks about all the options. Now, I'm not going to talk about PPP right now because that's a whole nother video by itself. And you need to make sure that you're getting in with the right match, because there are some out there that claim that they will help you to get a PPP loan, then make you go through all the information. Oh yes, I'm not kidding when I say it. Make you go through all the information all the way up until the exact tax dollar amount and paperwork that goes with it, just to find out that they would purposely deny you, thinking that you were actually getting a PPP loan from a real company, just to find out that it wasn't. Okay, that's a new thing that's going on right now, whether they're trying to project like Cabbage and different third parties like that by making up a name like, say, Blue, I don't know, like sunnydelight.com. Okay, you go to sunnydelight.com and you're sitting there like, you're like, oh, I'm applying for a PPP. They're a third party. And then you go through everything. Somehow or another, that you have all the information of how to get your information, but then it leads to nowhere, even though that you know that you can get the loan, because actually there's a point in the application where you actually know if SBA will have some way of knowing you getting it, right? And you can actually contact SBA to find out if there's any kind of records of certain things, okay? And that's how I figured it out. And then when I brought that up, I right away reported the fraud, because there was a company that was doing that and it looked extremely, extremely legit. Then it got to the point, so the only places that I would go to is like Cabbage and all of that. Because by the time I got done doing the research and looking how they do things, like all of a sudden, there were like 15 people replying to me about how they got denial on PPPs, but then they go straight to their own bank and they're like accepted the next day. So you got to be careful. Don't waste your time with fakes at all. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that PPP situation. And also, do not pay anybody. Do not pay anybody to go and do anything. All right. My best suggestion for you, especially since it's tax season and you want to get into what they have available for you, you want to make sure that you're going to be okay with your PPP application. At that point, I would, if you're going to ask a third party to go in there and help you, ask your tax executive to do it for you. If you have an IRS enrolled agent like I do, then ask them to apply for that PPP loan for you. Okay, have them put all the information, because they have it all right there. They'll know what line goes to where. They'll know exactly what the 4506T is. So in fact, they might even be able to just, know exactly how to get the phone number that none of us know how to get. All right. That's why I work directly with IRS enrolled agents. I cannot stand people that either just started working, say it is SBA, and there's a few that just started working, so that they have to say something to make your time worth the call. And then the humongous wait that you would probably still have to wait for. In my case, I don't have to do that anymore. I just skip the calls, just go straight to the big dogs and then go from there. Let them handle it. So in this case, there's going to be a few other grants. This page doesn't showcase that, but there's going to be innovative grants for you to start a new business. We'll talk about that when the bill passes. Okay. But when I talk about it, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. Yeah. I'm going to be more targeted towards, hey, it's open, go get it. I'm not going to be sitting here explaining what it is. That part you're going to have to figure it out. I will tell you a little bit about it in the beginning, okay, because we just don't really have time for that. by the time you get done hearing me explain what it is. Basically, I'm going to give you in a nutshell what an innovative grant is. It is a grant in the process of you starting a new business. So if you have a new business in mind and you want to start it, then you can apply for that grant, but you have to know where to apply and how to apply, and you got to know when it's going to be available. That's what we're going to be doing here. Right now, even the shutter venue operators grants. Now, I mentioned this on a video before. I said that all this the PPP money, yeah, that's a program. Everybody knows how to do it. Everybody's getting it. But, excuse me, the problem with the idle advance and all that is that it's divided by targeted, and then it's also divided by those who have not gotten an idle advance since July. That is waiting in the queue. There's 7 million that are in the queue. Now, if I were you, I would still call, if you got a loan application denial around the time that these emails were starting to come out about this, and that, so what you need to do is actually call the SBA, okay? Call them up. I'll share that with you right now, okay? Contact the SBA. (1-800-659-2953), or you can email disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. All right. Now, the reason that I am telling you about what you need to do about this denial letter is that just like the middle of last year, believe me, we were all over the place. We were talking on LA Late. I bet, oh man, I had fun commenting on that show with this idle advance and all the problems that were happening, and people were sitting there waiting in the vortexes and the this and the that, everything going on. My Lord. I'm hoping that we are actually to the bottom of this by now, but I want to get straight to the point here. If you did get a denial notice and it was from one of the businesses that you applied for after July, even if you were trying to get a loan, okay, then what will have to happen is you would need to figure out if the denial of the loan still allows you the ability to get the grant. And good luck trying to figure out that answer, because there was a whole lot of, see, in the beginning, there was transition. We had the one woman walking out the door while the next one was still waiting to be accepted. And then as of last week, she got accepted. They're working together. And at this point, we're now just waiting to be funded. But there's all kind of, like, I have about 18 of my own applications out there, but I've only gotten the emails for 5 of the 18 thus far. And I did get a denial on the one, but when I did call up, it had nothing to do with the grant. But then at that point, they were saying, well, there's no grant available for you. So I don't know how that all is going to work when it comes to them trying to figure out who applied and what company is right for the grant and whatever else. All I know is that if it is a grant where you had 10 or less employees, so and you can apply again. So in other words, SLMTA can apply to get the $5,000, but that would be in a different window, not the window that is coming up. You have a window coming up. Okay, so here's the issue according to the bill that is kind of getting mixed up right now. So when the bill gets signed tomorrow afternoon, evening, wherever you want to put it, okay, then what happens is they have 14 days to reopen the SBA grant application. All right. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. Half of this stuff wasn't even open, and I believe it was because they were just simply waiting for the bill, excuse me, to actually be signed, this third stimulus bill to be signed, because it was basically the down payment. Part two was a down payment for part three in stimulus. So, and then there was all the transition and everything. And I've already told you, I know that I mentioned this in an earlier video, where I believe that none of this stuff was going to get funded except for PPP because of the transition, and you would just have to wait. And so we're in this waiting game, and I think that the waiting game is over. The good news is if you got the emails coming in, and whether you are approved, if you've even got funded, great, congratulations to you if that is you. If you didn't get funded, but you're waiting to get funded, it's because you probably got that email saying, hey, you got approved, or you are approved, or what have you. So in that case, they will be able to see that, that scenario happening. So SBA is actually working to really fulfill those scenarios. So part two was low income, okay, for those who basically needed the remainder of the 10,000. And then part two of the part two bill was all about those who basically needed, it's a targeted idle advance that is limited. All right. In fact, I'm going to read this right here so that I'm not sitting here trying to say this all by memory. So the COVID target EIDL advance was signed into law December 20th, 2020. We understand that. Advance funds of up to $10,000 will be available to applicants located in low-income community who previously received an EIDL advance for less than $10,000. So that's round one. That's basically what I'm trying to say when I say round one of the phase two stimulus bill. This is phase two stimulus. And unfortunately, some of us are still sitting around waiting for this. Okay. And then there's the phase two of the, or excuse me, part two of the phase two stimulus bill. It is or those who applied but received no funds due to lack of available program funding. Okay. So what's going to happen is SBA will first reach out to EIDL applications that already received a partial EIDL advance, anywhere from $1,000 to $9,000. Applicants will be contacted directly by SBA via the email. Okay, you always want to make sure that it's at sba.gov. No .com, no .nit or .co or any of that. It would be sba.gov. Okay, that's what you want to be looking for. And applicants may qualify if they are located in a low-income community. Now, to be honest, I don't know how straightforward this is. It's because I had a few of my friends actually tell me, and I've been watching channels and other resources. Middle income has also been getting these emails. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with that, because part of my argument is that you could have low income in high income places. What do I mean by that? Well, look at where I'm located, okay? So Wyoming is low income, Okay. But Grand Rapids, which is literally maybe 6 miles up the road, is a middle to high income place. So what happens is when I start saying, oh, well, I'm, like, for example, Lombardo's Associates and Consulting Services, of which SBA thought that that was actually a multi-marketing thing when it wasn't. It was actually a coaching firm, and I have different programs in that. Well, in any case, I fixed that issue because that was the only thing that I was actually really denied. It wasn't even denied for credit or anything. It was denied because they thought it was something else. So I don't know. I went through the old reconsideration process because that's the only thing I was told to actually do. Whether that was a smart thing to do or not, it was something that needed to be done. So anyway, the thing is that is in a high income level place, but I drained my account down to nearly $0. You beginning that business, running that business, etc. It was nothing but a total loss, which is why I technically didn't even bring that business up to even try to advertise yet, because I need to fix the issues, and I'm hoping that I can regain some of that loss that I've had. Well, to be honest, I was still wondering where that email is, because that's part of an email from the July application that I did, along with 2 other ones. But I've noticed that on my end, maybe they're doing it in alphabetical order, I don't know. But on my end, all the ones that I had applied for July, August timeframe, those emails had not came in as of yet. But a lot of my businesses that were already established or is moving on to new establishment as of 2020, they all were coming in. And so there were different laws for different packages depending on the time of the year. And like part 2, believe it or not, was that the business could still be intact as long as it was started by like March. I think one of them was somewhere around February. So if you were in business in February, March of last year, you could be qualified for this. And I believe that actually even is true about the $5,000. Now, I don't have the bill in front of me right now, but I do have it on a PDF that I was able to get from a dear friend and colleague of mine's on air here that you can also get with LA Lake as becoming a member on his page. And you can get the strong details of exactly what that bill is entailing. But I'm going to tell you, for the most part, it is low income because that's what it's saying. And you're going to have to prove, you're going to have to demonstrate that you had a 30% reduction. Now, when it comes to that $5,000 grant, it is 10 employees or less, low income, and that it would end up being, it's really, I believe the reduction is about 50% this time. So you'd have to show like the same percentages of losses. So, and they're going to find out what you put in from one application to another. So do not try to finagle a situation. All right. Don't be the smart one thinking, oh, I'm going to put $100,000 and say I made 50 last year. It's not going to work if you ended up already saying that you made 60,000, because then they're going to, that opens a window when it comes to IRS negotiations, if you know what I mean. Okay. So you need to make sure that you are consistent, which means that if you don't fall into the new category of the reduction plan, then you might end up realizing that the 5,000 doesn't work for you, but there are other options out there. I have about 4 innovative projects on my mind right now, believe it or not, with everything else that I'm already doing. And what I do is I like to start businesses and then let other people try to run them. And I just take a percentage of the royalties. That's what I'm going to start doing because I can see the talent that people will have the ability to be able to do that, you know? So there's that. Also, I am in cahoots. I want to try to get what I want to call a threesome back together on developing a huge idea for a modeling and talent guild. Why? Because this kind of thing, it's innovative, and it also is going to provide that ability to, and not the guild of like the union that I'm starting. I'm talking about a guild where it gives you opportunity right online with various clients. Like we can have the clients, everything is paired together. I'd explain it more, but and I'm not really the one that would be explaining that. It would actually be one of the colleagues. So in any case, yeah, you can get an innovative grant if you feel that now I don't know what the costs of those are going to be. How much they're going to be, I should say. The shutter venue grant. This has been an issue as well, where no one was able to apply as of yet, and they asking you to sign up for alerts with the program. They constantly have like eligibility requirements. Here we go. We have an updated version of eligibility requirements on a PDF file. So let's go ahead and download this PDF. Let's see what they want me, what they want us to do, what this qualification requirements are going to be. Of course, I can only go as fast as my laptop is presenting. Now, while I'm waiting for this to load up, oh, here we go. Okay, good. I love it. I love it when my mouth starts opening up, things start happening. Requirement for all businesses. Okay, general requirements. Was fully operational on February 29th, 2020. Now, this is one of those scenarios where as long as you're in the, now, by the way, shutter venue grants are specifically for entertainment related businesses, stages, etc. Okay. If you're, here is the closest thing that you're going to get as far as Grubhub, DoorDash, and Lyft and Uber. And that is if you're a promoter with a company, or if you're actually an agent or a talent representative of some sort. But as a talent agency, you would qualify for this shutter grant as the agency. So I just want to let you know where the differences are with that, okay? So there is a situation for agencies, venues, the actual stages, and any other venue like convention centers. And then it goes down into like, if you run a convention, if you are this or you're that, then it goes to like the agencies and that, and then it goes to the, you're a promoter or you're an agent. You're following me so far? I'm trying to make this as simple as I possibly can for you guys to get me here. Okay. Then you have to prove you had to have gross earned revenue during any of the first, second, third, or fourth quarter in 2020 that demonstrated not less than a 25% reduction from the gross earned revenue of such business during the corresponding quarter in 2019. Let me rephrase that for you in English. Okay. You have to be able to prove that somewhere between the first, the second, the third, and the fourth quarter of 2020, you have to prove gross earnings, okay? But any of those periods, so you can have zero, say, January through March, and then say you might hit 100,000 for April through June, okay? And then you might be back down to 40,000, say July through September, and then, you know, so on and so forth. Don't give them a $0 thing. Oh, well, I made nothing January through March, because they don't have nothing to calculate off of. Because it says right here plainly, had gross earned revenue during any of the first, second, third, or fourth quarter in 2020. So that means that at some point in 2020, you have to show proof of some kind of revenue that you had made. Okay. And that revenue not be less than 25% of the gross earned revenue during the corresponding quarter in 2019. So if you're picking the spring quarter, for example, it's going to have to show a 25% at minimum reduction of your gross earned revenue during the spring time of 2019. Does that make sense? So let's say that you go by the last quarter, because that's pretty much what would happen with me. In the last quarter, I have made like all kinds of money. I'm not even going to say what I made on air, but anyway, I made all kinds of money and was able to progress and provide free services, you know, as an investment to train new faces. But then in 2020, I had to be a little bit creative in how I was going to make the money back from the money I didn't have. So what did I do? I ended up pouring money into the business of my own personal expense. So I ended up taking on a loss, but I had to put it in the account to keep the account flowing, because the bills were still happening. It didn't matter. Well, right there, that would prove that I had more than a 25% reduction in 2020 during September, or what is it, October, November, December. So in that case, I would probably be fitting that goal line of, a couple 100,000 at the minimum, because I would be applying as an agency, but then as an agent, I hadn't made anything because I couldn't. Everything was closed. Well, that's not exactly true. But even though I gotten paid as an agent, I had to pour it back into the company. And all that is proven with my tax paperwork. So if you want the proof and you're that curious, you can see my IRS tax. All right. Ownership restrictions. Oh, wow. Okay, let's talk about this. English. Is not listed on a stock exchange or majority owned and controlled by any entity listed on a stock exchange. So that means basically in simple business language, you don't want to be an open company. All right. Let's see what else we got rolling. Does not have or is not majority owned and controlled by an entity with all three of the following characteristics. Does not have or is not majority owned and controlled by an entity with all three of the following characteristics. So let's talk about this. You cannot have any of these three characteristics. That's basically what that's saying. I don't know why they have to be so like, it's almost like we're reading the English version of the federal government's Bible. It's it's like up to your interpretation, but you got to make sure you're interpreting it right, because you might end up with a really bad situation. All right, number one. Owns or operates venues, relevant museums, motion picture, theater, or talent agencies or talent management companies in more than one country. Okay. So if you have an agency that is represented in more than one country, meaning outside of the United States, or you are a motion picture theater company that is outside of the United States, museums, anything like that, then you're going to already be kissing this grant goodbye, because that's literally the number one red flag right there. Okay, don't worry, okay, because you can still, well, it depends on the new regulations on your PPP. If you have under 20 employees, you could still just try for the PPP, but first you need to find out if you are actually going to be eligible. Again, like I said, get with somebody that actually knows what they're actually talking about. Now, I'm probably as close as you're going to get as far as me sharing that, but I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to the total details of that. It's because they change it every single time. They might turn around and find out some other loophole and try to get something else mixed in there. So it's always good to make sure that you can get someone that, and that's why I was able to get the experience and everything, because my tax preparers who are licensed IRS enrolled agents, they help me get this stuff together, because I don't know anything about this. Okay. So if you're gonna pounce, you got to know how to pounce too, and do it safely. Don't sit there and rush into some kind of money and then flunk at the back end of it. Like, oh crap, now I got to pay this back. Why do I got to pay something that I got? You know, or like somebody be knocking at your door, you know, like, Yeah, I'm the auditor. Could I please look at your books? And I need to look at every nick and cranny of every crack in your building to make sure there's no receipts. Believe me when I say it. Just give it the IRS enrolled agent now while they're happy to help you, then to have to wait for them to come knocking at your door. It's so much easier. Okay. And then number two, owns or operates venues, relevant museums, motion picture theaters, or talent agencies or talent management companies in more than 10 states. So you cannot even be, you're limited to 10 states, folks. You hear me? Limited to 10 states. Thank God I only made it to 3. Oh man, I made it to 3 and they're all in hot spots. I wonder if there's going to be a loophole on that one. Let's see. Let's find out. What's number 3? Let's see. What's number 3? Employs more than 500 employees as of February 29th, 2020. Now, in short, simple, you cannot have more than 500 employees at any place. So that means by the time you count those 10 states of every place where you're at, if you're running 10 states, you, man, this is crazy. You cannot have 500 altogether. Woo, Lordy. Determined on a full-time equivalent basis. So let's say they're all part-time. Then you can't have 1,000 part-time employees. It's what I would almost assume that to be. And then your next loophole, that's your third one. So now the last one in the ownership restrictions is this. Not majority owned or controlled by an entity that received more than 10% of gross revenue from federal funding during 2019, excluding amounts received by such business under the Robert T. Stanford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. So let me just make sure I understand this. I'm going to repeat this, and then I'm going to tell you it in English, okay? Not majority owned or controlled by an entity that received more than 10% of gross revenue from federal funding. Not majority owned or controlled by an entity that received more than 10% of gross revenue from federal funding during 2019. So with that being said, if I'm translating that, I would have to say that you cannot have any entity owner or other owner with you that owns more than 10% to be able to be eligible for this grant. That's basically what I'm seeing in plain, short, sweet, simple text, okay? Prohibited activities. 1, does not present live performance. Whoa. Okay. I got this. I know what this is saying now. You cannot be an entity that deals with live performances of a prurient sexual nature, or derive directly or indirectly more than de minimis gross. Oh, come on. Let's just like put it to you this way. No sex, okay, at all. If you're a porn star, this doesn't count for you, all right? I don't mean to sound ugly, but that's basically what this is saying. All right. The other number 2 prohibited activities. has not received on or after December 27, 2020, any loan under the SBA's Paycheck Protection Program. So you're forgiven on this as long as you didn't get a PPP on or after December 27th. So as long as it was December 26th or Santa Claus came with a wrapped gift and some money in it, you were good. Anything after that, you're not good. Then you already get disqualified. And believe me, that's the first thing they're probably going to be looking at. That will be a flag going up in the air, waving even more than probably the American flag, because they're going to make sure that you're not double dipping. All right. We got additional requirements, folks. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is going to be strange, so I'm going to have to be extremely slow, and I'm going to try to make this very easy when talking about this grant and where we're at right now, okay? Business requirements. For live venue operator or promoter, wow, you actually fit right there with the live venue operator, theoretical producer, or live performing arts organization operator. Listen to this. This is your business requirement. One of its principal business activities in operating or using venues for eligible live. I'm sorry. I like to make jokes on this, but there are people that will file for the wrong information and literally mess this whole application up. So I want you to understand that the requirement that I'm reading right now, you must listen. No dumb questions. It's okay. No, you're not going to represent an artist by running an operation or a live performance, but you will book a live performance for that actor or that artist to go to that vendor. Okay, that's what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about live venue operators or promoters, theoretical producer, or live performing arts organization operators. Okay, listen to me if this fits you. One of its principal business activities is operating or using venues for eligible live events for which, 1, a cover charge through ticketing or front door entrance fee is applied, and 2, performers are paid in an amount that is based on a percentage of sale, to guarantee in writing or standard contract or another mutually beneficial formal agreement. Now, here's where I'm going to throw a little red tape. And I'm actually going to go and throw the flag on the flag. You ready to hear what I have to say? I know you're probably almost thinking that. But as a person in the entertainment industry for almost 20 to 25 years myself, with all the education and everything to back it all up, I need you to understand one thing. And this is where it's going to get important for the talent representatives. Are you actually doing what a talent representative is doing? Or are you sitting there trying to pull the position that I'm just reading off right now? Now, you do need to have a contract Yeah, with your model and your artist. But it's the venue that you're going to have to negotiate with. And the venue, that's what it's saying, that it will get anything that they had paid for any kind of situation. So here's another thing. I'm an agency asking for someone to help me to host a show, but I already have the venue. So the manager is telling me that I have to pay a certain percentage by this date, and that percentage has to be done like that, and this has got to be blah, 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 blah. Well, what they don't realize is that I'm doing the job that they're doing. What I'm doing is I'm asking for help to go to a venue that should be having this. Now, the real question is, who is responsible for negotiating a contract like that? Okay, so you need to know what kind of contracts you're adding into this figure. That's the bottom line that I'm trying to explain. That will be a red flag with tape that will cross that flag, and you better hope that everything fits the right shoe. Okay, because apparently somebody within the performing arts fields has allowed SBA some knowledge to know how the entertainment industry works, because this is exactly how it works. All right, now that's one way of going around it. Then there is either of these that you can do, or the next two. Now, this is one of them, one of its principles. Now, there's two things that you can do. Either not less than 70% of the earned revenue of the business is generated through, to the extent related to a live event described immediately above, cover charges or ticket sales, production fees or production reimbursements, nonprofit educational initiative, or the sale of event beverages, food, or merchandise. So that means not less than 70% of the earned revenue. So in other words, what they're telling you is that you need to be able to show that you have a 30% loss in this, but that of the revenue, you have 70% of that revenue that would have came from some kind of other initiative. Or one, I don't get this. One, its principal business activity is making available for purchase by the public an average of not less than 60 days before the day of the event ticket to live events described immediately above. Okay. Now, let's talk about the business requirements relating to a motion picture theater operator. One of its principal business activities is owning and operating at least one place of public accommodation for the purpose of motion picture exhibition for a fee. All right. Museum operators. And the reason I'm just looking and then thinking is because some of this is really just flat out simple to understand and it's straightforward. But that last one for the live venue operator, that kind of is a little bit confusing. A menu operator operates museums that are relevant museum as its principal business activity. Typically, they're nonprofit, so that's why they're just saying that. There'll be more information to follow on this. Then talent representatives, here we go again with the 70%. Not less than 70% of its operation are engaged in representing or managing 2 or more artists and entertainers. Okay. Now, managing means who they're actually managing. It doesn't mean putting someone up for sale saying, hey, look at this. They got, you know, but that they are on your roster. Okay. Let's talk about the operational requirements. Oh, and not less than 70% of its operations are engaged in. What they're saying is that your engagement, 70% of that at bare minimum, while you're proving a 30% loss, 70% of anything that you're doing with your business should be relevant to what your business is. So if you're telling them that the gross proceeds that you make is coming from training, then you're a training agency. You actually belong in another category because it's not a talent representative. And that's what I've been trying to explain to you. And this is where you can mess yourself up. You need to know what kind of business you are, or you might not even be able to do that. And I can see it already. There will be a couple of crazy, hate to say it this way, but a couple of crazy agencies out there that will just literally ignore this whole thing because of this one procedure. And that is that you have to prove that you are managing or, you know, yeah, like managing artists and artists and entertainers. I don't know what they mean. I think what they mean is with the modeling and artists. Okay. And that you are actually managing them, but managing them is not training them. There's a difference. Managing is when they are signed to the agency as actually a signed artist and or model. And then if they decided they're going to take the training, then they could. I've argued this out many times before. We might have that topic come up again so that you can understand further what I mean by this. All right. Operational requirements. For the live venue operator or promoter, theatrical producer, or live performing arts organization operator, has resumed or intends to resume organizing, promoting, producing, managing, or hosting future eligible live events. Now, SL Models and Talent Agency, we're kind of splitting hairs with SL Casting Agencies because SL Casting Agencies, LLC, basically fits under the live events, which is where our masquerade ball and all that happened. Whereas SL Modeling and Talent Agency is exactly what it said. So we're a booking agency. So we do have other options there. Then your motion picture theater operator operational requirements are should be as follows: is open or intends to reopen for the primary purpose of public exhibition of motion pictures. And for museums, is open or intends to reopen. And a talent representative is representing or managing artists and entertainers. So it doesn't say that you intend to get more artists or entertainer. It's saying that you are still managing them. So like SL Models and Talent Agency, we have a retention rate thus far. Some of them want to do the training, but there's an affordability issue, which is understandable. And others have joined in with the idea that they can improve where they are. Like, for example, Dylan is acting on a set. So he'll be able to use that, and it will build him up in his portfolio to continue further down the line and things for modeling and or acting. Okay, so these are the types of individuals that we have. And then of course, then we have our top models and our pro models that are assigning with us. Okay, let me make sure that this looks like that would be about it. Facility requirements. Now, for talent representatives or agencies, there is no actual facility requirement. So at least thus far. So you're good there. But for the promoters and that, it has a defined performance and audience space, has mixing equipment, a public address system, and a lighting ring. Engages one or more individuals to carry out not less than 2 of the following roles: a sound engineer, a booker, a promoter, a stage manager, security personnel, or a box office manager. Requires a paid ticket or cover charge to attend most performances, and artists are paid fairly rather than performing for free or for tips, except for fundraisers or similar charitable events. If owned or operated by a nonprofit entity that produces free events, the eligible live events are produced and managed primarily by paid employees, not by volunteers, and the markets performances in printed or electronic publication. It's on websites, by mass email, or on social media. If you are a motion picture theater operator, your facility requirements are as follows. It has at least one auditorium that includes a motion picture screen and fixed audience seating. Has a projection booth or space containing not less than one motion picture projector, excuse me. Requires a paid ticket charge to attend exhibition of motion pictures, and 4 markets motion picture exhibitions through Showtime listing in printed or electronic publications, on websites, by mass mail, or on social media. And then your museum operators have the following 2 facility requirements. Has indoor exhibition spaces that are a component of the principal business activity and which have been subject to pandemic-related occupancy restriction, and has at least one auditorium, theater, or performance or lecture hall with fixed audiences, seating, and regular programming. Okay. So that is your Shutter grant requirements. Now, I'm not even done. Okay, that's just the requirements for the Shutter venue operators. Now, mind you, you don't want to try to find your way into how to apply. You need to find yourself to figure out if you have the right checklists and things and eligibilities to be able to apply. Now, I have showed this before. Now we have video tutorial. So they are here. Shuttered venue operators grant overview. The SAM.gov entity registration training. Eligibility for live venue operators or promoter. It's eligibility for talent representatives. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Because this is the main one where I think we're going to have a lot of people messing up. And that is actually going to be right here at the talent representatives. So I'm going to go right to the tutor video, and I'm going to see how much we can actually hear and see of this. Okay. So that is more information specifically about the talent representative side of things. I want to add into this and say what you can use your funds for, because this is going to be very, very important as well. Funds may be used for specific expenses, which include payroll costs, rent payments, utility payment, scheduled mortgage payments, not including repayment of principal, scheduled debt payments, not including prepayment of principal on any indebtedness incurred in the ordinary, worker protection expenditures, payment to independent contractors, the other ordinary and necessary business expenses, including maintenance costs, administrative costs, including fees and licensing, state and local taxes and fees, operating leases in effect as of 2/15/20, insurance payments, as well as advertising, production, transportation, and capital expenditures related to producing a theoretical or live performing arts production may not be the primary use of funds. So do not make your advertising and that be the primary use of why you want to have that grant. Grantees may not use awards to fund the following: to buy real estate, make payments on loans originated after 2/15/20, make investments or loans, make contributions or other payments to or on behalf of political parties, political committees, or candidates for election, or any other use prohibited by the administrator. Then there is a grantee record-keeping policy. Yes, there is a record-keeping policy. Grantees will be required to maintain documentation demonstrating their compliance with the eligibility and other requirements of the SVO grant program. They must retain employment records for 4 years following the receipt of a grant and retain all other records for 3 years. Okay. That is the information relating to the Shutter grant. And like I said, we'll talk about PPP on another video. But I wanted to share this information. Now, the next thing that I need you guys to understand that I want to stress very clearly and right now live is that everything that you're doing must be consistent. You cannot make something up for one application and then for another application have something else being a different number. It just doesn't work that way. So what I'm going to suggest, again, when it comes to these grants, when this grant application opens up, you are going to need to get, and of course, business owners know this already. But when it comes to like managers managing artists or even some agencies out there, businesses like to wait the last minute. This is not a last minute thing. You do not want to wait the last minute to complete that. So you want to get this done as soon as you possibly can. Okay, but because there are steps to getting approved for this beautiful VSOG as well. And there's pros and cons to this. Now, if you don't think that the grant would help you, even though that's free money, you can try the PPP way and see that it works better for you. In the sense that you can actually reapply for a second, maybe third round of PPP. But as far as the grant goes, the venue grant, it is going to be very important for you to actually have everything set up, because this kind of a grant is a lot different than your EIDL grant. Now, there's another grant for restaurant owners, okay? You cannot have more than so many employees. You have to have so many different places at one time. There's many different things. I'm gonna read that off to you as well, because for some of you that are small business owners, that are running like one coffee shop, or say, the chicken, I don't know, the chicken factory or something like that. you guys, I think the restaurant grant would actually help. And I think it's a little bit more than what it's really saying. So I would actually like to break that piece of the bill down, because it is one that's not set up at all on SBA right now. So that means that when it comes up, it's probably going to be at minimum probably delayed. Okay, just like the what is it, the venue shutter grants, they were delayed. They had this information sitting there on SBA's desk for all these months since December, and nothing has happened to be able to help the venues. But at the same time, the venues really couldn't do much because America wasn't opening. So, there was a pro and con to that scenario as well. So to be honest, a lot of these things are going to happen in the time that is appropriate, but that you need to know when they're going to be coming up and when they will open. And that's what I was doing tonight. I was showing you how to do it. I was showing you what you need to become prepared with, because there's a lot to be prepared. It literally took me 98 minutes. Well, subtract maybe 30 minutes of me explaining EIDL and taxes, but it literally took me about an hour to describe to you about an hour straight to talk about what the venue shutter organizational grant is, because it is a lot. So either way, regardless of what grant you choose, what loan you choose, if you're doing the PPP, if you're doing the VSOG, if you're going to be doing the EIDL, if you're going to be doing the restaurant, if you're going to be innovating, I don't care what grant you have, you got to make sure that your 2020 taxes are appropriate for what you plan to do. And they will be checking this. And for those of you that may be outside the United States, yes, this is a topic that is national, not international. So that might be the reason why some of you are getting a little bored with this topic relating to what I'm talking about here. So that was the hot topic for tonight: stimulus for entertainers, promoters, and representatives. Yes, entertainers, your grant is just simply showing that you're in a low-income area. If not, obviously, you probably would not be if this doesn't qualify for you. But if you're a new entertainer, yes, I'm talking to you. It could be you, like, okay, I don't know if you're out there and listening to me right now, but it could be like Dylan. It could be like Jay, who signed in with SL Models and Talent Agency. It could be, who else of you that are out there? Anyone that was signed with SLMTA, like, I hate to call him by the name, but Christian. It could be Taylor or Ash. All of you guys that actually had signed into the SLMTA's roster, okay, and are either training or developing your skills, okay, being prepared for the bookings and things like that. You guys may not get a VSOG grant, but you can still attempt to get your EIDL advance. Why? Because with the bookings just going after regulars, the argument is that very little money and bookings were available for those artists, meaning you guys. Okay, and if you fit under the income threshold on a normal basis, and you hadn't already applied if you were an Uber and Lyft driver, then yes, as a signed artist with SL Models and Talent Agency, and you having an actual contract with us does allow you to take advantage because you are a subcontractor, independent contractor to SLMTA for you to be able to get bookings and or training. And that will be able to help you to even pay for your training so that you don't have to worry about coming out of pocket and then still have plus some left. So be smart about it as well. All right. And I'm encouraging you to take advantage of this because it will help the entertainment industry out a lot. And this goes for some of you out there who are actually looking to want to sign with SLMTA. If you're a new artist, take advantage of this while the money is coming in because you can, here's the thing, it's not about the money coming in as much as it is that you can use the money to invest it back in the SLMTA to give you the training you need so that you can then be further prepared. So there you go. There is a tuition aid grant out of disguise that you can actually take care of and not have to spend money out of your own pocket to be able to handle that situation. You just have to know, make sure that your taxes are set up right and be able to handle that situation. So that's where we are at right now. And I think that that would also include Iris too. I just got to make sure that she is actually wanting to sign. So anyone, there's about 12 of you out there live that I know of that have signed with us. And then there's the pro models and whatnot. But I think this is going to fall out of their territory because of the money that they're making and that kind of thing. But for those of you that are struggling, and then maybe you want to make the Miami photo shoot, I mean, besides any promises that I made with other individuals, these are things that you can pay for without it coming out of your pocket. I mean, you are becoming the independent contractor because you are signed with SLMTA. So take advantage of that clause so that you can go ahead and get the money that you deserve. And then and yeah, I mean, as far as the tuition to be able to get into the audition readiness and that, you'll be able to, you would have way more than enough to handle that. And you could also backtrack once it becomes live. You can backtrack to last year. So even if it costs you $3,000 out of the $5,000 for the training, you're still going to have $10,000 from last year because you didn't know to actually sign up for your own grants as a independent contractor. So there you go. That was some of the hot topic that I wanted to give you relating to everybody, including and especially the entertainers, promoters, and representatives. I hope that this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions about this information, please enter them in the comment section down below. And again, if you are a new model wanting to be represented by SL Models and Talent Agency, then please go online, www.slmta-agency.com, and then go on online application, fill it out, and I will get in touch with you with we go through applications like crazy here. We got 30 a day that comes out. Okay, so we want to make sure that we give the best time available for everyone. And that's about it. That's what we have for you for tonight. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and to like our YouTube channel, like the video. Share it too. share it with other friends that you know that this might actually help them out, especially when it comes to the information that they need to get these grants or how to get the grants and everything. If you're following me outside, meaning Instagram, Facebook, Speaker, Discord, Twitch, all of those, please find us on YouTube, like us, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. We are S as in Sierra, L as in Lima, Models and Talent Agency, LLC. And you will see a yellow logo with a red ring around it. That is us. All right. Thank you. And until the next time, please have a safe and marvelous night.